We are live.
Alrighty.
Yeah, we got a timer. Chris, we live. Rossi, we live. What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Pin the Gas podcast, where we cater to your motorcycle racing needs and desires. As always, once again, I am the GOAT, Cool Jules, and I am here with Chris, the whole effing show, Simcoe. And look what we have over here. My man, the future GOAT.
Facts.
The future is nigh.
What's up? What's up,
We
guys?
have my
Thank you for
boy.
having me on.
Word. It is great to have you on. And with the official PTG nickname, bro. And I came up with this probably like 15 minutes ago. Yo, don't look at me like that.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'm dying.
My man. Damn, I don't even know if I want to say it anymore. But it was based on watching your previous races. I call my man Ray Gun Rossi Moor. And let me explain.
Right.
Let me explain. Ray Gun. Let me explain. Hyper focus is legit what I felt about how you ride, right? And I'm here thinking, I'm like, shoot, man, hyper focus, laser focus. It's like a weapon, a ray gun. The ray gun is the most powerful gun in Call of Duty friggin' zombies.
Hell yeah.
I was like, yeah, hell yeah. You know what? Yeah, ray gun Rossi Moor. Shoot, let's bring that to fruition. So here we go.
You put more thought into it than I expected. It's funny because like I always talk with my dad about focus. So I guess it comes to the TV or something, but you taking out ray gun Rossi Moor is for laser focus is kind of funny because my dad's always like, you know, we're really big on focusing and, you know, being prepared for the race and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, just getting yourself like mentally intact, mentally ready to freaking destroy.
That's right. And big shout out to your dad, Steve, man, for making all this happen, man. So big shout out to Steve. I know Steve's watching, so absolutely, my man.
Shout out Rossi Pops. So like what was I gonna say? Yeah, man, for all of our guests, I mean, so some of it does require a little thought, but most of it comes naturally and it just makes sense. And I love every nickname. The only person that I did not give a nickname to was one of our older guests. He goes by Track Stars. He's a famous
Jose German.
What's up?
Jose German.
Jose German. He's a Dainese ambassador here in New York. And I didn't want to give him a nickname because his nickname was his brand. So I was like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, man, I love it. And I can definitely see like a little ray gun sticker at like the corner of your little RC50 RC 390.
Yep.
Oh,
I was about to say RC51 because I was thinking about Chris's bike.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So speaking of that, Rossi, you're the only AGV Dainese True backed by the manufacturer, correct?
Yeah, so when I was 12 years old, I won the European Ovale Championship, and that's when I got the sponsorship from Dainese because in the first race I had a problem with my bike. I think my needle in the carburetor like fell in because the clip failed, and then in the second race I saw red. I was just like prepared to like go full balls out just to like win the race, and I think I gave them like 6 seconds and like 3 laps. Because I did from a standing start, I was only 1 second slower than my lap record. And then people saw that and they were like, wow, who is this kid? Like, where does he come from? You know, I'm not Italian, and it's like it's weird for a non-Italian to like leave everybody by 6 seconds in like 3 laps, you know. So then
American
yep. What the crazy American? Yeah.
Who is this?
Who's this?
Mamma mia.
So anyway, after that, I became like really one of the only like fully factory Dainese riders that's like a teenager, and I was able to go into the factory. I even went to like that secret room that they have, you know, where all the suits are at from like when they first started, all the Valentino Rossi. Yep. And I was also like a test rider for like from between like 170 and 172 centimeters for Dainese kid suits.
Wow,
that is mega.
Did you have to model the suits? Did they put you in like a photo shoot studio?
I wasn't that charismatic yet. I was just like I just put it on and they just look at me and just stare.
I mean, you're charismatic now, so if they want to book you for a photo shoot, man, That'd
Sign
be
me up.
that'd be
Yeah.
sick.
Yes, it would.
That'd be so sick. You were we were talking about the North American Talent Cup earlier, man. What was that experience like? I know you guys were racing back in 2022. Yeah.
No, so I raced in the Northern Talent Cup. So it's a Talent Cup in Europe. So it's
Oh, the
different.
Northern. My bad.
Yeah, it's different from the North American because we rode different bikes. So there we rode a KTM RC 250, or
Mm,
actually it's a RC 4R. That's the name of it, but it's a 250 engine.
mhm.
And it's basically like a Moto 3 bike, just pre Moto 3, you know, but it's KTM. So it's like, you know, Honda has their NSF 250R, and then
Yeah.
this is KTM's Honda NSF 250R, and I mean they went quick. We were faster than World SSP 300 a lot at many tracks, and so basically
Damn.
the Northern Town Cup was like, it was like a feeder to Red Bull Rookies Cup. You know, if you win the championship, then you should go to Red Bull Rookies Cup. You know, that's what that was in the you know, fine print of the championship. So it's like everybody who was in that championship was absolutely gunning for it. You know, like we had 4 races. Hey, Team Miller. So anyway, we had 4 races alongside MotoGP, 1 alongside World Superbike, and then 2 alongside the German Championship. And it was like the intensity was like if you were in MotoGP, you know, it's like 4 races against MotoGP. And then when they pit you up, you have to like we have a tent, and then before we go to race, they would bring us to like the pit lane, and then we'd grid up in front of the MotoGP boxes. So it's like the guy would open up the garage door, and then it'd be like the KTM motorcycle right there. You know, I'm just like 5 feet from it and just looking at it. And sometimes they'd even take it out and then start revving it.
So you had.
Which is kind of a jerk because it's like I'm getting into the zone, and then they'll like bring out the bike and revs, and I can't even hear myself. Yeah.
Super exciting times, right? I mean, just to be there in that atmosphere, I couldn't imagine it. And so, is the pressure from that era versus racing in Moto America? How does that compare pressure wise?
Well, I mean, like when you arrive at a MotoGP venue, I mean, just like, you know, it's just generally more pressure. I mean, it's like it's MotoGP. You know, there's like all the huge teams, all the top riders watched on TV. You know, and it's just like, especially riding alongside MotoGP, it's like that intensity. You know, it's just, you know, it's different than Moto America. I mean,
It's like it's like the subconscious effort to impress. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like if you're walking down pit lane and you fist bump Jack Miller, you're thinking, "Damn, I don't want to fail Jack Miller in this race."
I actually did. I did fist bump Jack Miller.
There you go. See,
Miller, my dude too.
I could imagine. You know, I'm not you behind the helmet, but I'll be like, "Ooh, all right, well, Jack Miller, you know."
If you want to imagine, you can imagine at Le Mans, we had a race at the Le Mans that's alongside MotoGP, and it's like in the stands there was 250,000 people to watch MotoGP, and like 170,000 stayed and watched us. So it's like when I gridded up and I look to my left, it's just like a full stadium of just people. And
a sea of people. You're like, damn, hey, shit, right?
You know, like, as long as I can see, it's just rows and rows of people.
I actually like that because that just shows you outside of America that the MotoGP fans versus like the actual race fans, right? When Motoamerica was in Coda in 2022, I realized that after GP, 3/4 of the crowd left, and I'm just like, dang, bro, like you're about to see some crazy racing and y'all just leaving. So the fact that they stayed 100, would you say 170,000 people?
Yeah.
The fact that they stayed to watch you guys perform, that to me is everything, regardless of what your position was, regardless of how your race went. The fact that you got to do that and experience that in front of that many people is insane.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Yeah, I couldn't imagine the pressure either, right? Because you know the whole world's watching. Everybody, right? The whole world,
you know. And it's funny because I won that race at Le Mans. You know, I was like thinking subconsciously to myself, like, damn, I gotta impress some people here today, like 170,000, and then I won it in a really cool like last lap battle. It was like
I gotta watch that
type stuff.
Is that on YouTube somewhere in HD? I don't
Yeah,
want to rip off like
you can
some
watch
sort of Indian.
all the Northern Town Cup races on YouTube.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely can.
because I don't want to like go to some like Indian channel and they're like Rossi Moor. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what they're saying. Rossi, we missed you at the Ridge.
That's from Aiden Sneed.
Oh damn!
No,
I miss you, Aiden.
yeah,
Yeah,
We were there. I was there Friday to cheer on some people, but
nice.
on
yeah. The
Saturday,
Junior Cup
Sunday, I
didn't
was
race at the
praying.
Ridge, right?
No,
No, Junior Cup doesn't. Yeah,
yeah.
they took out
Laguna,
all the West Coast
yeah.
rounds from Junior Cup.
Oh,
To make the class cheaper,
yeah. Okay, that makes
cost
sense.
effective, more cost effective.
It's not
I mean,
much
you
for
got
us. We have to go to like East Coast every round.
right. I mean, still, it's still a haul, right?
But that means more training for you. I mean, do you get to practice on your RC 390, or are you allowed to?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I can ride if there's a track day, I can go around and ride. You know, it's just like the problem is there's not many parts for this bike, so it's just like I just can't really crash the bike because it's you know it's in 20. I think it's a 2018 KTM RC390R that I have. And it's just like it's so limited on parts because nobody rides it anymore. I mean, even World Super Sport 300 they switched to the new 2022 bikes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so speaking of that, you know, Rossi, you racing the only KTM in Junior Cup. So you're at a more disadvantage than everybody else because you don't have track data from the previous years or gearing or any of that stuff. So when you guys show up, it's start from scratch every race.
Yeah, exactly. I mean Tyler Scott and I think Alex Dumas they rode the KTM, but they don't even have data from when they were riding anymore.
Right.
I mean, we asked them and they're just like, no, sorry, we don't. But it's like finding everything like new and like you have to like figure out the gearing, and especially with only like one practice session that we have, it's just one practice, and the next is qualifying. You know, so it's like I have to figure out the gearing, I have to figure out the track, the lines, the braking markers, if the bike is good, if the gearing's good, all in like 1 or 2 sessions. You know, I mean, a lot of times I use like both qualifying as like practice, and then in the race we're just like hopefully it'll be good, you know. I mean, at Road America I was pretty lucky because it was a pretty similar track to a track I rode in Hungary, so I kind of felt at home almost, and I got like in tune really quickly, and we were able to find the gearing pretty fast. We had to change it actually on grid or on the pit lane, and it was kind of messed up because I was watching Dad like stress out and just like do it quickly, and he like cut his hand on the sprocket or something and poked he just like starts screaming, and then the guys the technical director is looking like, you okay, you want a band-aid?
You're right. Yeah. I mean, it is, you know, I've been on that hot pit side, stressful changing sprockets on that. So it adds an extra level of stress to it because time is ticking, right? And you only get so much in the session to get out there and make it happen. So yeah, it's super exciting. So Rossi, man, on top of all that, what actually got you into motorcycles?
So I mean, like, it was really my dad who got me into motorcycle racing. I mean, like, I was like, as long as I can remember, I was literally on bikes and surrounded on bikes. I mean, like, there's like a really old website. It's this Hungarian website where you could like post videos, and it's like you can see me as like a toddler with still a diaper on, and he'd like put me on his like GSXR 750 back then. And I like when he took me off, I'd start crying. And then when he finally started doing track days, he would always bring me out, and I would like hand him his tire pressure gauge or like help him try to put on the tire warmer, which I couldn't because I was like my hand was like this, you know. But
yeah.
And then my grandpa got me my first like mini like pocket bike, you know, and I started riding that around the house, and I was like, even back then I was like backing it into like the sidewalk and stuff, you know. And then I got my first like my road bike. It was a KO 125, and then from there is really the rest is history, you know. I started on motocross first, but I got last, and I was like, man, screw this. I was like, road racing.
How old are you now?
I'm 15.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this man is 15 years old. Still has not even this man. This little dude is 15 years old, and he still hasn't even scratched the surface. Ride to Death. Ride to Death is asking it's a loaded question, man. So favorite track, favorite American track, favorite bike ridden, your dream bike, and your fastest top speed ever. We were talking about your top speed.
Yeah. So I've been to like 65 tracks around the world. So I mean,
only
Favorite
65.
track, it's like, but I'd say it's definitely got to be Assen, TT Circuit Assen. It's just like, it's iconic, it's the cathedral of speed.
Facts.
I mean, like, what more do you want? It's MotoGP track, it's one of the best.
It is.
Favorite American track, I don't know. I haven't been to all of the Motoamerica rounds yet, but it's got to be either the Ridge or Road America.
The Ridge is so fire.
Yeah,
I was riding there on Monday. The guy offered me his Kawasaki Ninja 400, and I tried that out. And man, that thing is.
You like it?
Else than the 390. I mean, it's a different bike, different characteristics and stuff. So it's like, it really depends what kind of track you're at,
Right.
Anyway,
well, it's a parallel twin versus a single. Yeah. So
it feels definitely a lot smoother because of that twin. Just like the gas, the reaction of the gas. It's different. It just kind of like pulls you out of a corner instead of just like a grunt.
Thumping, right? Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Favorite bike ridden.
Gotta be Moto 3. Moto 3 is like, it's top tier. I mean, like, that bike is just like, there's nothing on it that you'd think like on a normal bike. So like the foot pegs, are usually like, when you sit on a bike, they're usually like straight down almost, maybe a little bit back. I mean, like the Moto 3, your foot pegs like back here, and your knees are like extended almost completely, and then you're sitting on the rear and you're like almost falling forward. But then like once you're riding the bike, then it feels completely comfortable. But like stationary, that bike is the most uncomfortable bike you'll ever sit on.
Interesting.
Like, the frame, it's a trellis frame, but it's still almost stiffer than anything I've ever rode. And also the way the forks and the suspension push the tire into the ground. I mean, there's like unimaginable amount of grip, especially with those Dunlop Moto 3s. I mean, it's just like it's incredible. It's incredible.
So that's why those Moto 3 boys are able to push it so hard at every race. I won't lie. I've been slacking watching Moto 3. I've been watching a lot of Moto 2 recently. Got to support the homie Sean Dillon Kelly, but that's its own subject. And fastest speed ever, man.
We got Dream Bike before it too.
Dream Bike.
I would.
I thought that was your Dream Bike. Oh shoot.
No, I already rode Moto 3. Favorite bike ridden Moto 3, but Dream Bike. I mean, it's got to be the GP23 Ducati from MotoGP. I mean, just like looking at that bike is just like, it's incredible. Like they're able to like, they turn better than any bike almost there. They have like one of the fastest motors, maybe beside KTM by like a few kilometers or something. And then they have like the most satellite teams,
Yeah. That most data for sure.
I respect that. I'm pretty sure it's a wonderful functioning bike, as you can clearly see. But that bike, I'm sorry, that bike is ugly as all hell. That's like the ugliest bike on the grid, in my opinion, bro. The Aprilias are the sex machines.
Oh yeah, the Aprilia,
those Aprilias.
That front wing, the way it's like curved, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like if they release that like limited, kind of like what KTM did with the RCs. If they did like yeah. If they did a GP V4, wait, what do they call it? RSGP V4 or whatever? If they put one of those out, limited,
like Desmo Sedici Ducati did with
like
in
the
the Honda
V4,
Yeah.
It's like that's basically the super bike that they're using right now.
Yeah, that's
That'd be nasty, bro. But yeah, that Ducati bike, man. And we'll talk about. Did you, before we go on to the next question? Did you watch GP?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, all right. So
I watched MotoGP yesterday, the sprint and the main. I haven't got to Moto 2 and Moto 3 yet, but I heard they were good races.
They were.
All right. So we'll talk about it later. Chris, you can label this ass in review too.
That's right.
So your dream bike is the GP23 Ducati.
Yeah.
It's sick. It's a sick performing bike, and that thing just looks unbeatable.
I mean, I saw it up close because I'm good friends with the Pramac Ducati manager who used to be, but he's still in the team now. But at Le Mans and at those few rounds that we were at MotoGP, they're like come inside, come into the box, and he's like showing me the stuff on the bike, and it's just like there's so much work, so much research into the bike. It's just like, it's incredible. He's like, the brake pads are like $1,000 each.
Did you get to straddle it?
No, I couldn't. No.
Dude, that would have been such a
I
sick
know.
experience.
I asked him like 3 times, like, please let me sit on this bike.
Yeah,
And he's like, you'll sit on it one day anyway.
I mean,
Facts. Yes.
Facts.
I sat on I don't know if you probably don't know him. I sat on Josh Gerardo's Stock 1000 Ninja ZX10, and Josh is like 6'3" or whatever, and I'm 6 feet tall. I got on his bike and I'm like, I'm on a race bike. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, I felt so cool on that thing. So imagine if they let you freaking straddle a GP23.
Yeah,
the dream. Like
the dream. That's right. The dream.
I almost straddled Alicia Spargo's Aprilia when he crashed out at Coda in 2021.
Oh, really?
So I work as a track marshal, and we were wheeling his bike out, and then it was off camera. The moto taxi didn't come in yet to pick up the bike, and the bike was just leaning against the fence that we have here. And we were just kind of holding on to it so it doesn't like fall over. And I kid you not, I was like,
I'd have straddled it. I'd have straight jumped on that bad boy.
No, I should, but I was so scared.
I wouldn't have been scared. Kick me out. That's cool. I straddled the Alicia's Aprilia, right?
But
I didn't even took a selfie.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ross. When you look at these GP bikes on TV, they look huge, but then when you see them in person, they're kind of
they're not that. They're
kind of small. They're like
a little bit bigger than a 600, maybe. I mean, they're tiny.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw, but I saw a photo of I think either MotoGP put it out or KTM IO did. It looked like the Moto3 bike had a ride height device also.
It did. I seen that.
I didn't see that.
Yes, I wonder.
It was like the rear like fender was like on the tire almost.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Picture. Yeah, I seen it.
Dang, yo, what's Moto3 doing, man? Bring that to Moto2. Let's get. Nah, Moto2 is
Moto2 like they hardly have any electronics, especially in the Chev bike, the Spanish Championship bike. They're really low on electronics. Because I'm good friends with Max Toth. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, I know. Max.
Yeah, and he told me that the bikes are like they don't even have like wheelie control or anything. It's just like pure power.
Yeah.
Which league is that?
The Spanish Championship Moto2, the Chev. It's called Junior GP now.
Yeah, Junior GP. There's one guy that I watch on it, because I gotta rep my nationality. McKinley Perez.
Yeah.
That's his name. Yeah. Philippines. Put him on top. Let's go. I'm like waiting for him. I'm like, yo, let's give him a chance at Moto2. Yo, let's get our first Filipino in there. That'd be some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they need more ethnic groups instead of just a bunch of Italians and
Spanish dudes
in Moto2.
It's funny because I think we were at the 2020 Red Bull Rookies Cup selection, I believe, or the 2019 or 2020, and it's like they brought in like 6 Spanish or something. Like half of it was Spanish, and then like 2 or 3 Italians, and the rest was just like whatever they picked out.
Yeah,
man. This is getting old. We need more representation, bro. I mean, we have Jack Miller, top 8, all within 0.7 of the seconds. Check round was crazy. Oh yeah,
that's from Robert Langford too.
That's from the Northern Tango. We had a lot of times where we had like 6 riders go across the line in like a 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, why too? Yes,
and in Red Bull Ring, I believe in 2021, if you were 7/10 off, you were 17th place.
That's how close it is. Yeah. So listen, to Red Bull Ring, man, how magical is that place to ride? It's fun to play on video games.
Was that the one where they added that stupid looking chicane?
After that big crash.
After the big crash.
The big crash. Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Red Bull Ring as like a venue, that place is like beautiful. It's on a mountain. Yeah. There's the big museum inside. I mean, it's a MotoGP track. I mean, like, and a Formula 1 track too. What do you expect? It's like top tier. But I don't know, riding with a like a mini bike, like a 250, the Pre-Moto 3, it's kind of boring because it's just like straight turn,
turn,
turns. And it's just like our bikes are like maybe the top speed's like 130 or something miles per hour, and we're just. I mean,
Yeah.
with a MotoGP bike, I'm sure that thing would be like, zoom in, and it's like hard braking and then hard gassing. Like, what do you want more? But for our bike, I mean, it's definitely a cool track though. But for our bike, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, I bet. So this next question right here is actually from Hank Miller.
Why why are the Spanish and Italians miles ahead of the Americans? Dang. That's a tough question. I think you guys can definitely put your piece on this, but it's definitely the tracks, the culture. I think the culture. Fuck the tracks. Oh, sorry. I think I think it's more or less the cultures, boys, because like these guys. I mean, some of us grew up on two wheels, but these guys, everybody lives on two wheels. And I just feel like you were just, if you lived over there, you were just born on two wheels from the jump, whether it is being on a road bike or a scooter. I think that's what kind of lays the base for everything. Americans, we love cars, we love trucks.
I mean, it's funny because we were living in Italy for a couple of years, I think like 1 or 2, and like driving home from the track, we see like this like hardcore grandma just riding this scooter and like zooming too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, like my take on the Spanish and Italians miles ahead of American is it's like you said too, but it's also like it's not just the tracks and the culture, it's like their intensity of riding too. It's like everybody there, they have the goal to go to MotoGP, and it's like they're gonna pursue it too. I mean, like in Spain, there's like Leopard team, there's Estrella Galicia academies, and they bring them all through there, and it's just like their intensity of riding and just wanting to be like a world champion is different from Americans, I guess. I mean, like I've been with some ridings, and just like, oh, we're gonna go out to the track and just have some fun, and not check the lap times and stuff. I mean, there it's just like they go to school, they come home, they dress up, they go to the track, they ride all day, then they train physically, then they go home and then go sleep.
That's it, right? And also their training program's different. We touched on
So
that
much
a little
money.
bit. It was that, and yeah, it's their whole lifestyle, just like what you guys said, right? It's that's what they dedicate their whole life to, is just riding, and that's it. Yeah, we need here in America a training program like they have over there. We really do.
I mean, America is like no like track that's like top tier. I mean, in a way, like in Spain, we had like 5 tracks within an hour. I mean, here it's like I have one of my home tracks in Meckmanville, and then after that, it's just like I have to drive up to Ridge maybe, and then maybe I have to drive over to the East Coast, or down to California. But there's just like oh, we're just gonna have like a Sunday activity and just like hop out to the track and stuff.
Right. And like if you were looking like in America, so when you were saying that, like, these guys like eat, sleep, and breathe just racing in general, even as a recreational activity, we get that here, but not for motorcycle racing, right? Like these kids they play football growing up. They play basketball growing up. Like that's what because I grew up in that. Like I didn't start getting into motorsports until 2020. So I grew up in ball sports. So that same hunger and determination that those guys have for racing, we have here, but it's for something else. And motorcycle racing, I think in America is definitely on a come up because of Motoamerica, and because that there's more coverage. There's a lot more coverage now of motorsports in America. A lot of people are starting to notice. I mean, you're getting viral clips of freaking Josh Herron now. Like it's good, and I think we're about to enter like a renaissance for the Americans in terms of motorcycle racing.
Yeah, it'll be good. Moto America is definitely doing a really good job. They need to have something like MotoGP has there, where they have a fantasy league, right, on their app. And listen,
Jake Gagne, Cam Bobier, like.
But my complaint is too, as far as the Motoamerica app, man, it's like you watch it and you got to wait so many hours for it to even update for you. Say if you missed a race live, right? You got to wait almost till the next day just to even watch it. Where the MotoGP app, you wait maybe 30, 45 minutes and boom, you can watch it if you missed it, not, live.
Right.
But as far as the spectators and the organization, man, it's so much better than it used to be.
Yeah,
TV coverage is really good. So yeah, it's great to see our sport grow. And
yeah, and
go ahead.
my bad, Chris, but I was gonna add to your point, and because of COVID, motorcycle activities went up, like skyrocketed,
Yeah.
right? So you're getting a lot more people on bikes, and you're getting a lot more people buying Rossi helmets, and they don't even know who that is. And then you explain to them who that is, then they get really interested into the sport. Then they go buy more stuff, and then they start attending events. Then they start attending track days. It's slow. Like I said, we're slowly approaching a small little renaissance in American motorcycle racing again, or like reliving the past almost. I mean, even back then, like the Haydens of the day, Ben Spees, and when we had Americans, and even then, motorcycle racing wasn't even that crazy in America, right? Chris? I don't know, I could be wrong.
It was pretty popular back in the day because of the guys we had, Matt Mladen and the Spees and the Aaron Yates and the Miguel Dumels, and it was such a battle, but it was a great team atmosphere, right? But then you had these battles where Matt Mladen hated Ben Spees, right? And Spees didn't like Mladen, so you got that clash and you felt the energy, right? Nowadays we don't have that, right? There's very few rivalries actually in motorsports like it was back in the day where Matt Mladen wanted to go up to you and rip your head off and shit down your throat and didn't give a shit, right? And would tell you, right? Now it's not like that. Everybody's, which is good, friends and all that. So it's just a different time period.
Yeah, Rossi, which is what I'm going to tell you, man. When you get on track, I mean, you're friends with all these guys, but what is when the helmet and the visor come down, man? What's on your mind?
You're my
like
enemy.
I'm tearing these people apart.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's just what Chris said. I mean, like, I mean, they're not enemies; they're rivals. But like,
right.
I'd rather win than like be like all lovey dovey with them. I mean, it's like it's ruthless.
Facts.
I mean, like in Europe too, you can be like nice friends off track, but then on track, like, bro, if I have to, I'll put a pass on you. You might break your leg or something. I mean, that's just like the mentality there. They much rather win and just be like, oh, sorry, and then just be like, oh, dang, I didn't make the pass.
Right.
Well,
Let's go have a slice of pizza later. Right.
I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the overseas kids don't really care about each other, yo. Why do I feel like everybody kind of keeps to themselves, and like you say hi, they're like, yeah.
I mean, like, I had a lot of friends in Europe, especially in Northern Town Cup. We had like a friend group, but it's just like there it's just like when like you said, like when the visor comes on, it's still ruthlessness. It's like everybody wants to get into the Rookies Cup, but like off track, we'll be all friends and cool. But once that visor goes down, you're 100% ray gun focused.
Spartans.
Ray gun. Yeah, you heard that, Chris? Ray gun focused, bro.
That's right. Ray gun.
I'm telling you, that's gonna be a sticker. As soon as I can find out who can make dope little designs and put it on a sticker, I got you, man. About to put like Ray gun Rossi Moor on that stuff, man. I want to make stickers for everybody.
I'll just keep pointing at it all the time.
Oh yeah, that would be sick to put on your helmet. Oh wait, what helmet do you ride with?
AGV. Yeah.
AGV. Oh shoot, so you be getting free pistas? What's up?
Yeah, the GPR does. I mean, I'm not biased. It really is the best helmet that I've ever rode. Oh, we lost him.
Oh, we did lose him. We lost him. But go ahead, Rossi. Yes.
Anyway, the AGV is seriously the best helmet I've ever rode in. I mean, just like statistically and just like in any way, it has the most visibility. Like its visor is huge. It's got this like really like thick and nice. Oh, you're back. It's got this nice visor on it, and it's just like the fit. It's carbon. It's light, I don't want to. Yeah.
Yep. I got one.
So I want to tell you one thing. Grab your helmet and look at the visor on the side where you would take it off. You don't have a screw there, do you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So on the factory helmets, we have a little tiny screw in there to keep the visor from falling off.
Ah, okay. I see. I got you.
Little extra protection, and there's just like other small stuff in it.
Well, I got you. So no. So I'm my helmet's just not as cool as your helmet. That's all.
Yeah, I got the bougie factory helmet.
My bad. I got kicked.
No,
but my only hold on.
But yeah, I really love my AGV helmets. It's a great. It vents really well. It's super light and like what you said, when you're focused, your field of vision's super huge in it, right? Because I also got this one. Not
Yeah,
too
mine ain't as
Alpha
nice as
R or
you
whatever,
guys.
the R1N.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah!
It's listen, that one's a nice helmet too. Yeah, there you go. That's the
little
case.
mirror
I don't want to name any helmets, but I've ridden in a lot of helmets before, and I've gotten like concussions from them. And like the one that we rode in the Northern Town Cup, it had a very tiny field of view. When you were like really deep into a corner and you couldn't like see where you were.
It was
going.
like Formula One,
a
Formula One visor. Like, how do they see out of those things, bro?
I know they're like this big.
I know. I don't get it.
And then they're like, I think who is it? I think it was like George Russell. He's like, the only thing I need to see is left and right. I don't have to see up or down. And I'm like, just me as a person and my natural instincts, I'm gonna look up even though there's nothing to look up at.
Imagine Lewis Hamilton when Max Verstappen like crashed into him at Monza, I think, and he was like on top of him. You kind of got to.
Oh yeah. That now you gotta
look up there. Now you gotta look up. Yeah.
Right.
That was wild. Speaking of crashes, man, yo, Aston had some pretty nasty spills this weekend, Chris.
They did.
Did you see Quartararo's crash with Zarco?
Yes.
Did he like twist his elbow or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh geez, yeah.
Friendly fire, bro. Friendly fire.
It is.
Quartararo is.
I'm waiting for the day. I'm waiting for the day that Zarco wins.
We all are.
I've watched him since he got into MotoGP with Tech 3 Yamaha back in the day, and it's like he was gonna win his first race out.
I know.
Car, and then he
wrecked,
and he never did again.
Nope, he didn't. You're right. That's a good point. I didn't think of it like that, but you're right. That very first race on Tech 3, what was that 2017, 18? Somewhere around there. Anyway, yes, you're right. He come out and he just kicked
the funny
ass.
thing is that my manager that I have, Stefano Favaro, he discovered Johan Zarco first.
Really?
He was he was the very first guy to like bring him up.
Nice. He's a double Moto2 champ, so we know he's got the talent. He just needs to piece it all together.
Yeah, he's never been slow. I mean, and like when you talk silly season stuff, Chris, like, and you're talking about like people to boot off a team. At one point, a lot of people were saying, "Yo, I don't think Zarco's gonna have a seat next year." And I was like, "What are you talking about? This guy is constantly in the points." I mean, there's gonna be one day where there's that one super star-studded Moto2 kid that you're just like, man, is it worth giving up a consistent point man for this kid?
Like Baby Jeebus because he's coming. Just saying.
But do you think he's going to Ducati though?
Man, I don't know. It's hard to say. There's a lot of speculation, rumors going around. KTM, Husqvarna, Marc Marquez is clearly unhappy with Honda, and they even come out and said in a statement that they can't make him stay if he wants to go. So there's a lot of stuff that's actually happening in MotoGP that we're all going to find about here.
I wonder what Marquez was thinking when he at Sachsenring when he almost high-siding, he like flipped off the camera. I don't know. I wonder who that was too.
Yeah, I know, that right? Me too, Rossi. I thought the same thing.
Alberto Puig.
Oh boy.
That was straight to him or his dad. I don't know. Dude, I've been on a crazy campaign, my own campaign, and no nobody's on this boat with me. So if anybody wants to join me, go ahead. If you disagree with me, I understand. Boot out Maverick Vinales and give Marc Marquez that Aprilia seat. That bike would be perfect for that dude.
I mean, hey, I think. Listen, I think Aprilia is one of the best all-around bikes on the grid right now, minus Ducati. Right? KTM, they've come a long ways. Okay, especially since Miller's joined the team.
Yep.
But I just don't think they're as well-rounded as the Aprilia right now at this moment. Okay.
No, I've been thinking that Miller with KTM has been like consistently higher in positions than he was with Ducati.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But that just goes to show the advancement also that KTM and Rossi, you know this. It's just like anybody that's ever raced before. You see a bike, it's beautiful, and you throw a leg over it, and no matter how you set it up, clip-ons, rear sets, blah blah blah, it
This
just
doesn't
don't
work.
suit you. It just don't suit you, right?
Yeah.
So it's it could be just one of those things, you know.
Aprilia is only top rider away from being competitive at each venue. Right. And
Well,
I'm
that's
saying
from Luis Ortega.
right, Lewis, I agree with you. And the reason why I bring up that Mark example is because Alicia's pretty much almost out the door. I mean, dude's getting old. Still competitive. I'm not saying he's trash or anything, but he's still competitive. But dude's almost out the door. Maverick, I highly doubt he gets a seat next year. I don't know. This dude brings in sponsors from literally everywhere, so I don't know if they're gonna boot him out the seat. But if they do, I mean, slapping Mark on it versus slapping like a an up and coming Moto2 rider on a factory bike, I don't understand. Or move Miguel Oliveira, but I don't see that happening either. I really think that Aprilia should give Mark like a 2-year contract. Like, yo, like see what you can do on our machine. Because the way that the bike handles and performs, I feel like can support Mark Marquez's riding style.
Yeah, Mark Marquez in a recent interview, he said they asked him like, is he leaving Moto? Is he leaving Honda? Is he not leaving Honda? And he's like, he didn't like say anything. He's just like, oh well, you know, we have a project now, and blah blah blah, and then we'll see, and then we'll see, and then we'll you know.
That's right. That's right. He can't, you know, because he can't. I mean, he can, but you know, there's certain implications that come with that. It's different when you crash and you flip off the bike on TV, you know, because you vent your frustration then, but you can't just come in. I mean, you could, like I said, you know what?
He's
shit, and I'm out, right?
Mark has the right to do whatever he wants on camera. I mean, 8-time champion. Come on, Mark can ride around many problems. Maverick has Biaggi-itis. If the bike is perfect, he is unstoppable.
Well, the issue with that, Luis, is that, you know, Honda built the bike around Marquez since 2013, right? And then when he got hurt off that hiatus, they lost direction. Obviously, if you can't tell right now by watching the races, right, nobody can ride the bike, not even Marquez. I mean, look at his last race. I mean, he crashed every time he got on the bike. Matter of fact, he crashed them all. There wasn't one bike he didn't crash, but Mears, he should have threw a leg over that. He would have crashed it anyway, right? So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes and within the team to set up the bike, and it's
well, they even like the bike is not bad in a way. I mean, they even switched to Kalex chassis. I mean, it's just like the hyper competitive nature of like MotoGP. You know, like he's 17th, but he might only be a second off, and you know that's 1 second is like if you break it down on a 10-corner track, that's 1/10 every corner.
Right.
You know? That's how bad the bike is. It's just 1/10 slower every corner. Yeah. And then that just adds up to the big gap, you know. So it's just like they have to just find that small whatever, you know, off the bike.
Like what Rins did at Coda. My boy, Rins is my favorite racer. That dude took that piece of trash Honda, wheeled it to the finish line, and won that race. My God, I wanted Rins to take that Aprilia seat, to be honest with you. Wait, Marquez always crashed the Honda to find limits. Just how he's crashing in races, then practices.
Yeah, wow. Right. I mean, that's what riders do. Just ask Rossi. So when you find the limit on the motorcycle, as you're actually getting to that limit on that front tire, losing grip and folding versus running that thin line, what's the feeling like?
Well, I mean, it's like it's something you won't experience unless you like really
experience,
right? Have the skill and like the speed to get to there. But I mean, it's just like, I mean, like a lot of commentators say, you're always like on the razor edge of just like, you know, completely dumping it. But but Marquez has to push the limit. And I've rode bikes that have like, you know, the tires are like shot on it, and then I'm like trying to chase a faster rider, and the feeling is just like, in a way, it's horrible when you know that you just like can't keep up, and you have to like push over the limit to like try and stay with them, and then you'll end up crashing. You know, once you go 110%, you know, you can't. It's hard to do it every lap unless you've done a perfect lap. You know,
right?
And I think that's just Marquez's problem. Like I said, it's just that little I don't know, grip or chassis or geometry or setup or something that he just like, he can't push past it,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I think maybe part of the problem too with Honda is their motor. Because they did change the motor. So whether they went forward or backwards.
Well, look at what happened to Yamaha. They made the bike faster and it didn't like incorporate, like the bike's gonna be more aggressive, and they just kind of like forgot about that thought, and they just like kept the bike the same, just improved the motor, and now the bike's going slower than it did before.
Which brings us to Morbidelli, right? So Morbidelli actually has been doing decent this year compared to the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I hear you, Jules. I hear you, right? But he's still on his way out. I mean, let's just be honest.
Oh, damn, that was mean.
Yeah, I mean, I personally feel that. I feel like, I don't mean to, hurt anybody's feelings, but it is what it is. So yeah, it's something, and even Quartararo, I think sometimes is questioning Yamaha. But then again, where would he go? Ducati's pretty much full. KTM's in trouble with Pedro coming saying that, I want a factory ride. I don't want a gas. I want the full factory ride. So, yeah.
Do you think he's earned that right, Chris, to say that? I personally don't think so.
I think, that's a difficult question. I think he has shown signs of very brilliance, right? We can all say that starting first Moto3 race, starting from pit lane and winning. I mean, come on, man, right? I mean, that's Rossi level riding, Marquez level riding, Casey Stoner level riding, and then to back it up and win and consistently be up there. And there's a lot of talent coming through Moto3 and Moto2, right? And only limited of MotoGP seats. So out of everybody that's moving up in the class, I'm not taking away from anybody out there, but if I was a team manager and I was looking for the next guy, Baby Jeebus would be on my team, 100%.
Right. But the fact that he only wants a factory seat, it's like how much more can you? It's a risk. It's a risk, right? I mean, you're asking for a factory seat. You're not 100% sure you're going to get it. And if you don't get it, what are you going to do? Stay in Moto2 for another year? Let's say that next season you get hurt. I feel like if you have a chance to make it to the big leagues, you take that chance with everything you got, and then perform, make your requests after. All right? Because look, if I was looking at Rossi Moor right now, Rossi, let's say I was in RNF Aprilia, right? And then you wanted to be in factory Aprilia. You as you are now, I'm like, dude, I want you on an RNF Aprilia right now, or at least right now next season. Are you gonna say no to that? Like, I mean, it's a different situation with you because I mean,
in a way, look at I think Joe Roberts, wasn't he supposed to go to Aprilia, and then he turned it down because he said he wanted to win a Moto2 World Championship before he goes in, which I actually agree with. You should be a Moto2 champion or some kind of Moto champion before you get into MotoGP, because really everybody in MotoGP is a champion. Either Moto2, Morbidelli is a Moto2 World Champion, everybody in there is a champion. Yeah. So I mean, he didn't do it wrong. It's just like if you're offered a MotoGP seat, I mean, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
So RNF Aprilia, I hope you guys are listening. You need to get Raul and bring Rossi Moor on. Yeah, absolutely.
Get their what is it, like their navy blue and peach orange color? Who came up with that color scheme?
I mean, military green with the military green. That's like,
and it looks like it's got a chin on the front, on the bottom of the cone, like a chin. I'm like, what is that?
Like, what kind of color scheme? Like, who was your graphic designer that was like, you know what?
This is fire.
Yeah, these are our colors. Yeah. Like, come on. I make better liveries on freaking MotoGP and on Ride for that. You know what I'm saying? Hire one of those.
Rossi, do you play video games? Xbox, PlayStation?
Yeah, of course.
You got a PS5?
No, I have a PS5 and I have this computer too. Yeah.
Nice.
I got a PS5 for
Christmas. I'm behind, Chris.
I don't have MotoGP yet, but I grind Ride 4, and I'm not half bad at it.
Listen, we're gonna have to get on and play. Me and you gonna have to link up and play for sure.
Together. All right.
I gotta get a
100%.
P5, man. I gotta get a P5.
And Avery and Isaac and Jillian, they play they got an Xbox and they play Ride 4 too as well. I wish it
No,
was
I think
cross platform.
It's funny because
they
one
have
of my
PlayStation.
friends got me a Steam Deck. I don't know if you guys know what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like it's like the kind of like a Nintendo Switch is bigger, and
Yeah.
you can play like Ride 4 on the go. And it's funny because I learned a lot of tracks playing like
Playing the
riding. I like played on Ride 4 before I like hit the weekend. It was hilarious. I'd be like, they were like, "Have you been to this track before?" I'm like, "Yeah, but only on Ride 4, man."
Right.
Yo,
Right.
speaking of the other your competitors, bro, they were calling me constantly yesterday, and I don't have any of their numbers saved. I forgot I gave Julian my number, and I kept getting Google Hangout video calls, and I finally answer, and I'm like, "Yo, who is this?" And then I see half of Julian's face, and the bottom half of Avery's like face. So like, "Yo, get on Ride 4." And I was like, "Bro, I don't have a Series X, or I think they're on PlayStation, Chris. I don't know if they're on Xbox. I think they're on PlayStation.
I think they're on Xbox.
They're on Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even join them. I got an Xbox One,
Yeah.
so I don't even think I could really join them like that. But
I haven't played with any of them yet, but I know Alessandro, he holds the record at some track with the R3 in Ride 4.
Nice. Nice.
all right, time to come after it, man. You ever watch like those esports players play like MotoGP or Ride? Like they play that game so well, bro.
Funny thing
And
is,
none
there
of
was
them
like
own bikes.
you guys know like the EICMA show or something.
Yeah.
There was another like type of show. It wasn't the EICMA, but it was in Italy, and it was also like pretty big. And they had like Aprilia like esports stand, and you could like go there and try out. And if you had like the top time, then they'll like talk to you and stuff. And I went over there, and I was like, I'll just kind of play on the game. Maybe I'll see how good I'm doing. And I had like the 10th best time or something. I did like a 45 round Mugello on the Aprilia.
Nice.
It was
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's
Little
I suck. I ain't gonna lie. That MotoGP 2023 game, I suck ass on. It's so hard. The braking is just retarded. I much prefer Ride 4, and I can't wait till Ride 5 comes out. That's what
I think it's already out.
Is it really?
Ride 5's out already? Oh, it came out.
Yeah,
like last week, I think.
Okay, well, I might have to get that then.
Oh snap! I gotta pour some money into that, man.
So my boss man, if my boss is at work is watching this live right now, I'm not coming back because I'm getting ready to download Ride 5 and I'm staying home. I'm just playing.
Spend that $50, man. Yo, your race, your second race at Road America, man. You were riding up front pretty much the whole dang race, and you were explaining before the podcast, like one of your original plans was to kind of tow and see where the game plan was in the first race, but it didn't really work out.
That's just because of Road America's nature. You know, you just like
you
think like to yourself, it's like what 4.5 miles or something like that. And we had like a 2-minute 40 lap time or 2-minute 38. What I did.
Like, yeah, we got time.
And so like I knew I had the pace to be in the top and maybe even pull away because I was riding a lot by myself in practices. Not on purpose. I was just like, that's how it just came out. But I mean, it was good because I learned how to like go fast without anybody pulling me.
Right.
And then when it came to the first race, I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay in like second or third and like let somebody else lead. And then to the line, I'll try and draft them. And I did. It's just my bike is not a twin. It's not up to the top end of the Kawasaki's, and then by the line, you know, Avery just like zoomed by us, and then I mean I still got second, but like I beat Levi by like 0.002 or something. I had his front tire was like this close behind me, and in the second race, I was thinking to myself, like I was talking with Dad the night before, like I know I can pull away. I have the pace, you know. I just have to be a little bit of luck in it too. I mean, like to break away on a big track like that, and I just like from the start on, I was just like, if I can get ahead by turn 5 and then just like try and pull away a big gap by the last turn, maybe they can draft me. And I did. And then it was funny because Dad was telling me after the race that he was telling me like, I haven't made a mistake in like 5 years in Europe. Like I really haven't. And then he's talking to Motoamerica official. And then in the turn 5 on like, I think lap 3 or 4, I go straight. Yeah. I blew the corner a little bit.
Yep.
But then I regrouped like hella quickly. I was like, I went to third, and like I think the next lap I was already first again, and then in the last lap I was just like, okay, it's just full balls to the wall. I'm just gonna put everything into this lap and just like see where it goes, you know. And I think I went like a second quicker or something on my last lap than I did in like race pace. But I mean, like, I was seriously on the limit. Like my front tire was like losing it every turn. I was coming out of the corners, like I felt it spinning on this like 390. It's just like so I was just like it was almost like a textbook type race, you know, just like be in the front and last lap you pull away, you know.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
the W,
that's
baby.
exactly that. It looked like you were racing every lap to beat your previous lap time. Because when you were out at front, it was truly just you against the world.
Yeah,
like the gap from like you and Max Van, I was like, oh shoot. Because at first I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a photo finish potentially.
yeah. Jason,
But
I think who was it? Greg White or Jason Pridwell was like, he didn't believe me. He didn't believe in me until like I actually won the race. Cause I remember like watching back the commentators. He was like, Greg White was like, he was like, he's in a good position, and then Greg was like, I don't think so. I'm like, he might be a sitting duck at the line.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh man, like sitting duck. I was like, you know, and then
Thanks, Greg.
Forget. You know what? I think the Pin the Gas crew, me and you, Chris, we should just take over Motoamerica commentary for Jersey.
Let's do it.
We should just do that. I've been following you. Ride to Death says I've been following you on Instagram for a couple years, but didn't know what your name is. I heard you're racing MA, and I thought you'd put on a Ty Scott clinic in the Junior Cup. I mean, it's still early in the season, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, the main problem was that, you know, I broke my wrist. I don't know if you guys see. I have the big line here.
Oh, yeah.
I have another one here.
Yep.
So I had a really bad accident. I was out for 8 months. I didn't ride. I didn't train. You know, because I couldn't, because they said I had to keep the swelling down, so I couldn't get my blood pressure up and like running. But I couldn't ride because in Hungary they put my wrist back in the cast wrong. So when it was over, it was like, woo, you know, it did like a S. And since I couldn't ride, you know, they had to recut it, and then in that surgery that they did and stuff, and then since I couldn't ride, you know, you kind of like, I mean, after 8 months, you kind of lose the feeling of like that fine tire, like that edge. But I rode a new tire with these Dunlop Junior Cup tires, and it's a complete different tire, and it's a complete different bike, different style bike. You know, it's a 390. It's like it's not a street engine, but it's still like based off of it. Right. You know, and it's just like, for me, I have to like kind of know the bike and know the tire before I can like really want to like push it, because I know that there's some races who is just like, doesn't matter what bike, what tire, what thing, you just like ride it, but they all ride it the same way, you know. So then now at Road America, I was finally like feeling the tires and then feeling the bike and feeling the feeling out my competitors also, and then I was able to win it. You know, I mean, the first race was kind of like a teaser. You know, I lost it by like 500 or something, but in the second race, you know, I just put my head and win it. Yeah,
I know.
But I mean, funny. Also the second race. Sorry to cut you, Chris, but
no, go ahead.
The Ninjas have kind of like evolved. I mean, look at the bike I'm riding. It's from 2018. You know, I mean, this bike hasn't been like touched since then. You know, and while the Ninjas are always like improving something and then homologating something else, and, you know, it's just like it's not as big of a gap as it used to be. You know, when the R first came in, I mean, it was just like a dominant bike, and like, you know, there's one of it, and then Alex Dumas like won every race or whatever, like one like lost one or something. But it's a different story now. You know, the bikes are more equal.
They are, but you know, the KTM RC390 is still at a disadvantage when it comes to the parallel twins of the Ninja. It's obviously top speed too, right? But
the electronics too.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is when Rossi won that race, man, I was in here in my living room and I was like, fuck yeah. And I'm screaming, and my wife was outside smoking a cigarette. She come in, she's like, what the hell are you yelling for? I was like, Rossi won the race. And my son's name's Ross. He come around the corner. He said, but Valentina retired. I was like, no, Rossi Moor. There's
hilarious. So many of y'all.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
So many Rossis out here, man.
There's a Moto3 rider named Ricardo Rossi,
which I met. I had a great conversation with Ricardo in Texas. He actually brought me in his Moto3 pit garage because I'm a huge Marco Simoncelli fan, right?
Oh, so yeah.
I met his dad, Paulo, and we had I tried to have a conversation. He don't speak any English, and he's talking to me in Italian. Like I understood. I just kept shaking my head, smiling. He gave me a big old hug and all that. But I met Ricardo, and I showed him my tattoo. Told him, I'm a fan, of course. And he was like, yeah, blah blah blah. And he just started talking to me like we were really friends. Invited me inside the Moto3 garage, and it was a surreal experience, man. It was.
You know who's the nicest rider that I've ever met? It's got to be Troy Bayliss. I mean, I met him at Most in 2022 when we were at the World Superbike round. I mean, when I like met him and then I was like talking to him, and I swear we were talking to each other like we've known each other for like 15 years or something. Yeah. It was funny because we were like talking for like an hour or something, and it's like my race is about to start, and I'm like, Troy, I gotta go, but I mean, like, I don't want to tell like this legend,
right?
That I gotta leave.
I'm not gonna leave. I need him to leave first. And he just keeps like, oh, when you're done, come over to the trailer and we can keep talking and all this.
You're like,
I was like, hell yeah,
yeah. Like, oh, Ride to Death says, best of luck to you in the rest of the season. Hank Miller said the field has been put on watch, but my boy Avery Track Slayer Dreyer is still in the lead. Go Avery. All right. We'll see. Yeah, man. On an international pro level, man, the nicest person that I've met is definitely Johan Zarco. That dude is probably the. He's saying to me, bro.
I asked him questions to me at one of the pre-race interviews for MotoGP, like the press conference. They were like, with Northern Tonka, they let us like ask like a question from each MotoGP rider or whatever, like the top 3 that they brought in. And then I asked Johan Zarco, the kid next to me asked Quartaro, and I think it was like Mark Marquez or Aleix or Spargo, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's awesome. Yeah. So I've met a lot of them.
Damn near everyone.
The worst one that I've met, and he's one of my favorites, was Stoner. I remember specifically walked straight up to Stoner. I was like, man, can I have your autograph? He said no. It turns out walks away. I was like, oh, okay then, right? And then I tell this story so everybody knows I'm a huge Rossi fan. So I was in Indianapolis. I wanted to get, of course, a picture with Jorge Lorenzo, right? So his manager pulls up. They go to the Clinic Mobile, and they pull up on the scooter. And I'm like, dude, I'm a fan of Jorge. Can I get a picture? He's like, well, you got a Rossi hat and shirt on. I was like, so I had to think of something real quick. I was like, well, I'm actually here with my dad. He's a big Rossi fan, so he bought me the hat and the shirt, right? So he's like, yeah, I tell you what, if you take off your hat and your shirt, I'll get Jorge to take a picture with you when he comes out. So, of course I did, and then Jorge took a picture with me, and of course I put the shirt and the hat back on, and yeah.
Well, you shirtless? You had an undershirt?
Yeah, I did. But probably the coolest rider out, man, there's so many of them. I mean, there really is. I mean, Rossi was really cool. Perdosa was really cool. Zarco, of course, was really cool.
I mean, I've practically also met every single one because, like, mostly the Dainese riders. Because in MotoGP, we have there's like 2 like mobile homes that they bring in all the time. And there's one side that's like the repair department. They can like repair your suit at the track, and they have like extra suits for you, and then like fix your helmet and clean it and dry it up and blah blah blah. And on the left side, there's like the hospitality mobile home where you can go up. You can watch MotoGP. It's air conditioned. We have like coolers with food in it and like Italian snacks and stuff. And it's like I'm like up there chilling, and then just like Luca Marini just comes up and starts watching it, and then or like at the time Jack Miller was also a Dainese around. I was like, oh cool, how's it going, pal?
That's it. What's going on, bud? How you doing? Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's so listen, Northern Talent Cup racing over there versus America, as far as the kids stack up against each other, what is the difference of levels of riders, if there is any?
Well, I mean, if you would look at one of my races, the first thing you notice is how close the competition is in Europe. I mean, it's just like I was telling you about in a little bit earlier in this podcast, we had like sometimes like 6 riders that go across the line like 1/10. And it's just like it's that closeness that's different in Europe than America. Because if you look at the Motoamerica, like the Junior Cup qualifying, we had, I think it was like maybe 6 riders, then we had like 1 second, and then it drops down to 2 seconds, and then 3, and then 4. There's no seconds, it's just tenths. It's like if you're a second, you're like, ooh, you're way back. And
so those bikes over there in the Northern Cup, are they all identical versus like the Junior Cup, right? Because if one person's got more money to dump into it, blah blah blah, of course.
Yeah,
So
no,
are they all identical?
Yeah, it's as controlled as it can be. You know, they take you take your bike home, and then then they put a seal on your engine, and then you have the electronics control. You know, they check your ECU, make sure everything, and it's just like just basic teardown stuff. It's in like it's a spec class. You know, you buy the bike, you buy the race pack, and then you go ride. That's it.
Yeah. So it's different, obviously, than your Junior Cup on that aspect.
Well, it's also different because we all pitted next to each other. So like Northern Town Cup had this huge tent, and then we'd all have like our little like space in it. If it would be a rider of like a team of two, you'd have like 2 boxes for yourself, and then if a team of 1, then you just only have 1. If you had 3, then you had 3. And it's just like we also had factory KTM mechanics there to help you if you need any help, So it's just like you can just bring your dad as a mechanic, and then if you need like major help, then they can help you. But so I think that the reason, like, they also controlled your tires. So it's like you have to put a sticker on it. They'll tell you which tire to put on. Put on Assen Free Practice 1 on this session. Put in Saxon Ring Free Practice 2 in this session. So it's like everybody has the same amount of laps. Everybody has the same compound. So there is just really who's faster at that time. In Junior Cup, it's a little different because you have to like actually like figure out what tire, what session you're putting on. Maybe you don't put on new tires for Q1. Maybe you put on for Q2. Maybe you put on for Q1. Maybe race
put on the R3 tires.
In Motoamerica, they actually wanted to give us 10 tires because the new asphalt was like killing tires. Like I had a few tires that was just shredded, just like completely destroyed. It's let
me get one of those tires, man. Autograph them for me.
I gave a little kid one of my race winning hat when I won.
Nice.
He like
nice.
Goes, Jake.
Because the day before, he comes up to me. He's like, "Can I have your hat?" I was just like, I was like, "This is my first race that I got this hat in the Junior Cup," and it was like, I'm like, if I win tomorrow, then I'll give you my hat. And I didn't think of it like a lot. I was just like, okay, I'll just give this kid my hat if I win tomorrow. And then he's like, you win the race, and he's like staring me down at like the podium, just like
he's like,
"Let me get your hat now."
You boy, I got you. Yeah, that's awesome. but you know what, Rossi, you got a fan for life out of that too. You know what
you did.
So he's always gonna be there.
Well, I've seen like the horrors of some of the MotoGP riders. Like I saw that one video where like Valentino Rossi was going to the airport, and that guy was asking him for the autograph, and he like wouldn't do it, even though the guy was like literally like begging for it,
Yeah.
And I just don't want to be like that. I know that MotoGP riders is different because they have so much on their mind. It's just like interviews 24/7. Then they go riding. Then they have this huge pressure. But like, I will always try to make time to autograph somebody. You
got to, man. And that's what will make you stand out. I
think I was waiting for somebody. I think it was Cardi Casula or whoever, and it's like I waited like 3 hours for him to like get an autograph, and it's just like I don't want to do that. If somebody's there, I'll come out, help them, take a photo.
Yeah,
that's how it was. That's why it broke my heart with Stoner when because I stood in line for, like you said, hours, and I finally get to him like, dude, and he's like, nope. And turns around, and walks away. I was like, you didn't me right now, right? It's
Dang. Like I never really had like a terrible experience. Well, a couple of my least favorite experience, and I don't know, maybe it's just a victim of the times, but it was Josh Herron.
Here we go.
Yo, and that's why I was always like, yo, I hope he gets killed this next race, like, you know what I mean? Not in a literal sense, but like gets destroyed in lap times.
Right.
But then like just him in that Warhorse Ducati seat and the stuff that he's been doing and saying, I'm like, kind of low key a fan again, yo.
I made that whole YouTube video on like why it wasn't his fault that he like almost.
Yo, that was great.
That was great. Yeah,
the petty king, like it was wonderful. I'm starting to really like this guy. Loris Baz also probably wasn't my favorite, but it's not because he did anything wrong. It's just because it didn't feel genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like it was more like, oh, let's get this shit out the way. Hey, okay, later.
He was cool to me.
He was cool to you.
Yeah,
I hope he was. Again, it was probably just the timing of everything.
I met him at Bruno. It was pretty nice. I mean, it was like I met him like we were like he was like leaving already, and he had his suitcase and was like walking next to each other. And I like look over. I'm like, isn't this Laura's boss? I like tell Dad. I'm like, let's go take a photo. And then he was like pretty cool, but he's like tall.
He's like 6'5", bro. I'm just like, dude, why aren't you playing
tallest
basketball?
I think it was Leon Kamier. He's
really?
It's like 6'6" or something. I don't know. He was like a skeleton.
Corey Alexander's tall too. That dude was like 6'3".
Yeah, Corey's
tall. Or like 6'4". I was like, his shop is literally like 25 minutes away from me. Not even, probably less than that.
I'd go see him.
I could go see him right. Well, I don't know if he's there right now. Oh no, they are because he's on a 3-week break, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I could go over there and see him right now. I'd be like, yo,
isn't Laguna coming up soon?
Yes, that's the next race. Yeah.
Oh, so he's probably testing right now. He's probably not even home. He's probably in like Buttonwillow or something.
Well, him and James Rossi also have a podcast that they do too. Yeah. So,
Rossi, ain't better than us though.
This season, man, dude, it's been spectacular. What is your plans for next season if you have any so far?
Straight to Superbike. I'm kidding.
I mean, right now I can't really say anything because it's too early, sadly.
Right.
I'm still talking with my teams back in Europe and my manager trying to figure this out. We don't know if we're staying here or if we're going back to Europe yet, or we'll see.
I mean, my heart says please stay here, but my mind knows that.
Most surely I want to stay here too. I mean, I like to race here in America too. So
yes,
because like I said, as much as I want our racers to stay here, like I wanted SDK to take the Bobier route, right? Like I wanted him to go to not stock 1000, but like probably go straight to Superbike and kill that Superbike, but he went straight to Moto 2. As much as I want our guys to stay and duke it out, I definitely understand if you guys need to go out there and do your thing. You know what I mean? Like it's your career, it's your future. You know what I'm saying? But we love having you here while we have you here, man.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great either path that comes before you, and you're going to be hugely successful at whatever path you take.
You can't go wrong.
Are you going to Europe? You're gonna kill it, right? So I'm super excited.
No to
yeah, you know what I mean.
Yo, man, I'm telling you, Aprilia offers a seat, bro. You take it. You take it. I swear to God, I will fly to wherever you are during that press conference, and I'll be in the back. I'll be like, yo, you know what I mean?
Like the little kid with the hat.
The little kids there, like
straight up, just
it's like we're here, and we are here with the Rossi Moor signing the contract for the Aprilia, and I'll be like, you better. You know what I mean? No, wait, no, I don't know why I put on that accent. Razlan is freaking rode with you and G and J in Ohio.
Yeah, it's a little kart track. Funny thing was when they had a slight break in between. I think it was Barber and Road America. We stayed at a friend's house and we popped down at G and J. And I rode there in 2020, and I haven't been there since. But it's just a little fun track. I rode my Junior Cup bike there. It was funny. I just took off the fairings and I rode. It's like a 30-second tiny go-kart track, and I out there with the Junior Cup. It was kind of funny.
That's awesome.
I also wanted to bring up this point because we're about to reach the hour and 15 mark. But I also want to bring up this before we got on the podcast. You were this is totally different subject. Did you meet Lucas Holbacker?
So I didn't meet Lucas Holbacker. I met the guy who had his bike, but I did meet Mark Reiner Schmidt, and that guy is
Mark Reiner Schmidt. Yeah.
I met him at Valencia, and he was riding his BMW S1000 for the German Championship, and Mattia Pizzini was also there with a factory Ducati Superbike, and they were running identical times.
Sheesh.
Mattia is cool.
He's a supermoto rider, but I mean, he's quick on a road race bike too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love watching S1GP, man. Like I was watching it a lot last year. Tommy Scherer is one of my favorite ones too. Chris, do you watch a lot of? Do you watch S1GP like that?
Yeah, of course.
Man, I watch anything and everything that has to do with two-wheel racing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so you do watch S1GP? Yeah, man.
It don't matter what it is. It could be midgets on a scooter racing. I'm gonna watch it, right? Facts.
Have you seen
So-
have you seen like the electric scooter racing?
Yes, dude. Yes, over there
Oh,
in Indonesia.
God.
Yes, dude.
I don't know
dudes
how
are
I feel about
nuts.
that, bro.
Dude, it's so funny. Watch and like the way like when they crash, they're just like the scooters just start tumbling or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they have like intense team and they have like special like tires for it and like brake systems and they have like bubbles so you can like tuck in behind the scooter. I'm just like,
crazy.
what the hell?
And they lean pretty far too, bro.
Damn right.
Would you if you had to do a guest race, would you do one?
Yeah.
Facts. I would too.
Dude,
Yeah,
that was
facts,
so
right?
funny. I just like I'd bring like 5 friends too. I mean, like if I have electric scooter, I race them anyway. Like
Right.
just,
So,
and then this
yeah,
would just be like intense racing, you know?
That's
It's just
right.
like,
It looks intense for the way they do it. They should do one of those single wheel races like those uni boards.
the
Um,
one
the-
wheel,
the,
The
mono
one
wheels.
wheel.
the
Yeah.
one wheel race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the tires like fat like this. I wonder if you can like if you can like get real low on that thing. I've seen people because it's really big up here in New York. It probably is bigger like overseas, but in New York there's a lot of people that have those like uni boards, right?
Yeah.
And the way that they just whip that thing around, I'm like, yo, would it be cool if we had a uniboard race, yo? Like just like a small miniature version of Mugello, and then just like have like on the back straight, just like
Yeah.
kind of like hands behind the back and like tucking it behind each other, like what I mean?
Yeah,
That
that'd
would be
fun.
awesome.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, it would be.
I've always wanted to ride one, but I'm so scared that I'll freaking die on that thing.
Oh man, they're simple. You just step
Any-
on it and go.
They're so
Anything that has to do
sketchy.
with
I rode with
boards,
friends, they were so sketchy.
Yeah.
anything that has to do with boards, like skateboards, terrify me.
Yeah, I don't skateboard.
I had a friend who like speedboard, like they like go down hills with and stuff.
Now them guys are
the
nuts.
longboard.
Yes,
Yeah,
them guys are nuts, man.
I cannot.
On public
so
roads, yeah, them guys are. Yeah,
So they will have like how you guys have knee pucks, right?
Yeah, they have
They
like
will have
hand
it for their hands,
Yeah.
so they can slide. I tell people, I'm like, it is as somebody who rides a bike, obviously to not to your level, or probably not even to Chris's level, but as someone who rides a motorcycle, I feel like skateboards and longboards are way more dangerous on the street than a freaking motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I try to explain it to these guys, and they're like, "Oh, but a motorcycle can kill you." And I'm like, "Bro, a longboard going downhill on a mountain
with no
and you have
brakes,
no
They hit, like,
brakes?
they
No
hit, like,
brakes?
60 miles per hour or something.
dude. They get
more
ridiculous
even.
fast. Yes, it's scary. That's sketchy. I'd rather jump out of an airplane.
Electric unicycle racing. That's
Oh, I have to watch that
Yeah,
electric
I'm-
unicycle
Ride to
racing.
death. I'm definitely gonna
Okay.
check that out.
I have to look that up. Yeah. Cause yo, the only thing that they can do is plant their hand and kind of contort their body where the longboard's like sideways. That's how they brake. But they're bombing it downhill, dude. Like I can't with that. And street skateboarding is just as dangerous. Friggin', I was watching. I don't know if you guys know who this is. Nyjah Houston. He's literally the greatest skateboarder in the world.
yeah.
And I was watching his little mixtape that he made for Nike. He just uploaded an outtake, which is like all of his fails before he completes the trick. This man should have died at least 8 times.
It's
Like-
dedication.
Like he should have died. I mean, on a motorcycle track, you slip, you slide, you land on the gravel, you're sore, you break your arm, whatever. These guys are running into moving cars and falling off
Face
like
planting on
50-foot
concrete.
rails.
Yeah,
On concrete, no pads, no nothing.
yeah.
Dude,
I don't know
I
why
can't.
they don't have like protective gear like us too. Like
I know.
They
right?
do. They
just
just
like in a
they
t-shirt.
do. No. Here's the thing. They do. They just don't do it. There are knee pads. There are elbow pads. There are gloves. There's helmets. literally, but they don't do it because that's not street skating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Street skating is like that good old like raw, shirt, pants, sneakers, baggy jeans or whatever. Because back in the day, my bad, I'm going on a little rant here because I'm trying to prove my point that skateboarding is way more dangerous than street motorcycling. Okay. Back in the day, if you wore pads, they'll call you a loser. Like, oh, you're soft. Like what kind of whack stuff is that? You know
what
I mean?
kind of whack stuff? You just want to lose your elbow,
Right?
Yeah. Like you're not a real skater unless you got battle scars. You know what I mean? So
no.
Here in motorcycling, we wear our scars. Like you show people your scar. Like, yeah, man. Like I'm a racer. I have my little like remnants of road rash on my knee from 2 years ago. So I'm like, yeah, this is what happened to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Chris got some battle scars as well.
Absolutely.
Or maybe he just tattooed over them. I don't know. Because Chris has like 50 tattoos.
Hey, man, I like my tattoos, man.
I love your tattoos.
I want to go back to the supermoto. So like I was telling Chris before you came in, before the podcast, that I had a supermoto that I rode in Spain while I trained. And I went to a few tracks that S1GP went to, where they race supermoto, and they ride dirt too, and whatever asphalt jump that they have at some tracks. But when I was riding there, I held 2 records at two tracks that are like really famous. One is Gas 74 karting, and the other one is Circuito Yepes. And the Gas 74, I don't know if you guys know Simon Jesperson.
Yes.
So he literally lives there. He lives at that track. He has a little like garage for himself. It has one bike, some tools, and like 50 sets of tires. And he just rides and rides, and he put in some like unbreakable record. It was like a 48.2 or 48.0 or something.
It's flying.
And
48 seconds.
I came there at like maybe I think I was in January, December, and it took me like 2 or 3 months, but I beat it, and I find it a 47.7. And they said that record is like unbeatable. 47 is not possible, and blah blah blah, because he rides all the time. And when I did that record, they still didn't believe it until like they saw me ride, and then I like kind of shocked them because it was funny because that day Aaron Canet was there.
Nice.
Hey.
I was riding with Aaron Canet. He brought out his new KTM 450, his SMR, and we rode together. And I think he did a 48.3 that day, and I did a 47.7.
Sheesh, take that, Aaron.
It was funny because he's like, I'm gonna beat the record, and then I was like, no, I am. And then there was this other guy, and he couldn't speak English. I think he might have been with Canet. I don't know, but he couldn't speak English. He just came up to me and was like, "You see, Canet, Campeonato del Mundo." He just kept telling me, and then I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool. I know Canet. I mean, I'm really good friends with Canet. I have his phone number too.
Right.
He's my boy.
He's a really nice guy, but."
I love him.
On track, I like went behind him, and then like in one braking zone, I brought in like half our gap, and then you could just see the guy standing there like
that's right.
That's awesome. It was funny. And then I got a little tow from Canet, and then I was able to do that fastest lap. So I did it twice. I did a 48.0, and then I was like, that was with like semi-used tires, and then we put on the new tires, and then I did a 47.7. But that 47.7 lap is like insane. I mean, it's faster than Mark Reiner Smith or Lucas Holbach, whoever's been there, And then there was another track that I did the record on. I think I did a 39.9 at the Yepes, and then some S1GP guy just like recently broke it. I think he did a 39.8 or something.
That's
but
right.
I had like records, and they held for like a year in Spain.
That just means you need to go back and re-break them again. That's all.
Exactly.
Facts, right?
Kind of like. They're like all training there, and I'm just like here, and it's kind of like sad. I want to ride my 450.
Just show up.
I was gonna ask you a question, but I don't want it to hurt your future plans in road racing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about the whole supermoto thing. And I was like, nah. He's got his thing planted in road racing. But but if I were to bring it up though, I would ask. someone like Brandon Posh. I was like, yo, Brandon, if somebody offered you a factory seat at S1 GP, would you take it? You know what I mean? So I'm asking Brandon Posh, not you. So you know what
I mean, I definitely do a wild card in S1 GP.
Yeah.
I just need to get like the
That was a
problem
very
is with
safe
S1
answer.
GP. They're like a jack of all trades. They're like road racing champion, motocross champion, flat track champion, and they all have like that's like the 3 skills you need because they're like jumping, then they go into road, and then like back, and so like I'm quick on the road, but then as soon as we hit dirt, I'm just
You slow down. You just fishtailed the rear.
Well, I'm sure it's different, right? I've ride supermotos. I've never raced them, so I could see where it'd be sketchy as hell getting on some dirt with the slicks on it, right? You'd be like,
they have some like they have some tracks that are like asphalt only jumps.
yeah,
Like they have bankings and stuff with like that's asphalt only. I'm like that is sketchy.
That's next level. I've never ridden a
They're like
supermoto.
full pinned on like a full they're like sideways, completely going around this bank. I'm like Jesus.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
I love watching that.
Supermotos are a lot of fun to ride too, man.
I've never ridden one.
They're light, they're flickable. They're actually so much fun on the street. You could lose your license really, really quick. Facts.
Yeah, but you can't really get on the highway with one of those, right?
You don't want to get on the highway. That's not the point. You
no,
really
but
just stay around town doing jump sidewalks and ride wheelies, over curves and do all that.
As somebody who takes their bike literally in the mountains and like everywhere, I mean, if I had a Husqvarna
790
701
yeah
701, yeah, I'm pretty sure that would do well on a highway.
Well, those are a little bit different. Yeah, they'll do 80, 90 miles an hour easily. But dude, if
I went out to a bigger track with a supermoto and I only hit like I think 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
After that, it just tops out. The aerodynamics just suck. You just can't.
You're just all wind. It's all wind, right? But dude, you get up here in Virginia on these mountains and 30-mile-an-hour corners, and you got a supermoto, you're gonna eat everybody alive on a crotch rocket. Hands down.
I want to do it.
You'll eat everybody alive up on it. Rossi, coming up on the next couple races in Motoamerica, what tracks have you not been to yet that you have not raced?
All of them.
Okay, so all these are new.
Every Motoamerica track, I don't know anything about them. I've been to Pittsburgh, but only the Mini Cup track.
Right.
So I haven't been on the big track either. And then like New Jersey and Brainerd are brand new for me.
Nice. Well, I'm actually going to be in Jersey. Yeah, I'm going to be in Jersey, so I can't wait to hang out and meet you.
See you guys there.
I'm gonna make it to Jersey. I kind of want to check out Pittsburgh, but like I'm bringing the girlfriend with me, so I want to make sure that there's actually something fun to do outside of the track. And like we're trying to like look on TikTok to see if there's anything cool in Pittsburgh to like. But
riding, man. Get her a Motoamerica seat.
Right. Right.
No, she's no doubt. I told her I was like, yo, even for the average person, Motoamerica is a really fun and intimate event, and you can literally do a lot. But
it's literally like a carnival at Ridge. I was at the Ridge. There was like the big wheel, and then there was like the slingshot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Go-kart's dope.
Yeah, dude, yes. Hey, Jules, I got a great idea for your girl, man. We'll talk to Chris Ulrich, man, and get her a 2-up ride on the super bike. Yeah.
Damn, she's gonna crap her pants, bro. Like she hasn't even gotten a chance to be on the back of my bike yet, obviously because it's down. But I want to warm her up just going up and down the street first, and then we'll take her straight to the mountains. You know what I mean? But yeah, dude, it's definitely something I am looking forward to watching another Junior Cup race, man. And I hate that I have to wait so long to watch one. It is literally, and I've said it numerous times.
It's literally like 1 month from now. It's 1 month from now, exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's 1 month.
It's my favorite division.
So obviously you're going to be training between now and then. So you're just going to be riding your KTM RC390 at various kart tracks, or?
Well, right now I can't because we have to rebuild the engine. Also, we have to like take it apart. So we didn't do it at Road America. They didn't take my engine apart there because they said you can take it apart at other rounds because there's a still sticker on it. That seal.
The seal, right?
They'll know it if you took it apart if it breaks. So they're gonna break. So the team's gonna bring it to Laguna, and they're gonna rebuild it, and maybe I can get like a test at a go-kart track here before.
So other than that, you just don't have any other bike to ride. You just run and.
Well, I just got my Ovale GP0 or my GP2 from Ovale USA, and yeah, thanks to Brandon and Nathan from Forza GP and Rise Moto, for helping me get that bike. I mean, I love the Ovale so much. I've been riding it for like ever since like 2018 now. I mean, it's just such a good training bike. You know, it's just like it's like a Moto 3 bike if you like shrunk it a little bit. You know,
Right.
Yeah, I've always wanted to ride one.
Me too. I've never ridden one, man. You know what? I was in the market. I was going to buy one, man, but I didn't realize they're like $6,000.
Dude, it's so expensive.
I was like $6,000. Holy shit!
Yo, I mean,
But it's a lot of bike. I mean,
Rossi,
really
if you get like a, if you get like a
190 at a go-kart track, it's only like if you're at top level pace, it's only like 3 seconds slower than a 450. And
that's
it's
flying. Yeah, that's flying.
If you got that ambassador discount, bro, let me know.
Discount.
I'm better with you.
Nah, it's cool.
But yeah, I've always wanted. I've seen PJ Jacobson ride one of those. I was just like, oh, they look like so much fun. I want to get on one so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Rins was on one recently, or not recently.
Oh,
but
most of the MotoGP riders have a Ovale. You know, it's just a good training bike. You know, it gives you that GP feeling. You know.
But then again, I'm big as hell, so I don't know if I.
You know Chaz Davis.
Yep.
Yeah, he rode the Ovale. Isn't he like?
I'm bigger than him.
Yeah, he's tall. No, he's tall. Chaz is tall. He's like 6'2", I think. Yeah. He's
never mind. I'm wider than him.
He said I'm wider than him.
I'm wider than him.
I know that's what I'm wider. Yeah, wider. That's awesome.
If anybody watching this has one of those mini bikes in Jersey, please give me a 15-minute ride on one.
I might bring mine because it might fit in the trailer, and I don't know if like, there's gonna be a break in between Brainerd and Pittsburgh. I might bring my Ovale.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. It'd be a lot of fun to ride.
If someone wants to give me a 10-minute ride on one of those,
like a rental cart, like 10 minutes practice.
Yeah, just 10 minutes. I promise I won't crash it. I don't even think I can. I think the moment I lean, my knee will friggin' just grip the ground. I don't know.
It's like on this bike, most people like, you know, you put your knee down first. No, you're gonna put your elbow down first.
Yeah. Because your knee's gonna be tucked up against the tank to get that ground clearance, right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like my knee would just touch the ground anyway, even if I was turning, and I don't mean to. It's just gonna do it.
Well, you'll be surprised. There's more room than you think on the new GP2. There's like very like big like grown men like can ride it. Like I'm talking like 6'2", 6'3" can like ride it like easily because they had the GP0 and I was like slightly starting to outgrow it at that point, and then now they brought this GP2 and it's got the 12-inch wheels and stuff, and it's just like it's much better now. You got a lot of room and stuff. And I was riding at the go-kart track that's over here. And I swear, I felt like I was top rack because there's like a good braking zone, and my rear came up at least like a foot or more. You know, my dad was like, "Dude, did you look at your foot?" It was like up here.
Come to Florida, yo. I'll come to Florida, man. So if anybody wants to give me a 5-minute ride on one, I will shorten my time if I could just get a couple laps. I've never done a track day. I mean, I do go-karts, but I've never done a track day, so please.
Yeah, we need to get you on the track there, Jules.
Yeah, we're man. But anyway, boys, I gotta go. I gotta return this freaking rental car at 2:30. And we're definitely past 2:30. At least over here. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't want to cut you guys short unless Chris has something to say. Or
listen, it's an honor to have you on, Rossi, and I told you this before. Everything that you achieve to desire in your career, I'm gonna be behind you 100% and support you fully. And I hope you get that 8 times. And I want to say thanks to your dad, Steve, again for making this happen. I want to thank everybody that supports the podcast and watches and chimes in. And so why don't you tell everybody the only American Northern Cup talent champion that we have. Bravo, congratulations. That's so mega. Tell everybody how they can follow you, how they can watch you, how they can get in touch with you, and all that good stuff.
So trying to plug myself. So I have on Instagram, you guys can follow me at the Samurai 92, and then on Facebook, you guys can just follow me at Rossi Moor, and then on TikTok, I have Rossi Moor official. But I just want to thank Chris and Jules, for having me on. It's been an amazing podcast. I really am honored to be on here too, and thanks to Dad also for kind of setting this up. It's been a good talk. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, man. Hey, I can't wait to have this conversation again because we'll definitely have you back on 100%.
I just followed you too, so
yeah,
found you on Instagram. I was like, oh shoot, I just followed you.
All right, I got the notification. Yeah, and I also want to thank my manager Stefan Favaro and my team and all Diners and AGV and everybody and Gray Area KTM and Paxton and Don Gray and everybody.
Shoot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Thank you so much for getting this man on the podcast. It was definitely fun, and I have a lot of fun just talking to the young and up and coming talent, future megastars,
future
champion, and the champion nonetheless, man. So I mean, shoot. Hopefully you can pull that off in America too, man. You're a champ over there, you're a champ over here. So let's get. I mean, you'll always be a champ over here, but
yeah, thank
having
you.
the actual you know what I mean. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody that represents Rossi Moor for getting him on this podcast. Thank you to your dad. Again, everything what Chris says. Thank you to Chris, the whole effing show, Simcoe, for reaching out to you and making this happen. This has been great, and you're always welcome to come back, man, whenever you want. We don't have to talk about you. We could just talk about what's been going on in the racing world. We're always happy to have people on, especially in the off season. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And thank you to Ride to Death and everybody else that contributes in our little comment section. Because of what we use in StreamYard, we're able to put your comments up here. So you're not slick if you say something fresh. You know what I mean?
It's coming up on the screen.
We'll expose your ass. But anyway, for everybody else watching, thank you again so much for tuning in and watching our podcast, listening to our podcast. We're on Spotify now. We're on our iHeartRadio. Podbean is taking us everywhere, including the moon. Take that, Jeff Bezos, because we're doing this well. You can listen to our podcast 12,000 feet below the Earth's surface, near the Titanic. I'm pretty sure they were listening to Pin the Gas podcast, but no, I'm kidding. That's messed up. But anywho, you guys know the deal. Subscribe, like, pay attention to us, listen to us, spread the word, spread the vibes. Cool Jules, Chris the whole effing show, Simcoe, and Ray Gun. Rossi Moor. See you guys at the next episode. Peace.
See you guys.